A Silver Dagger explores the lives of women in Europe and America from about 1500 to 1800 through the music they used to speed their work, lift their spirits, or ease an aching heart. I focus on all the people who lived during these centuries, not just the rich and famous, but families and servants, the folk. They greatly outnumbered the wealthy, but left few records behind them. Folk songs let us peek into their lives. In my first song, a mother sleeps next to her daughter. This was not unusual. Many families had just one bed and everyone piled in, especially in winter. But what's unusual is that this mother sleeps holding a dagger in her right hand, ready to strike. Oh, don't sing love songs, you'll wake my mother. She's sleeping here, right by my side. And in her right hand there's a silver dagger. She says that I can't be your bride. All men are false, so says my mother. They'll tell you wicked, loving lies, and in the next breath they'll court another. They'll leave you where the sun does rise. My daddy is a handsome devil. He has a chain that's 5 miles long. On every link a heart does dangle of another maid he's loved and wronged. So go back home to your own garden. Go back home, return no more. No other man shall come a-courting. No other lover cross my door. Oh, don't sing love songs, you'll wake my mother. She's sleeping here right by my side. And in her right hand there's a silver dagger. She says that I can't be your bride. This mother was betrayed by the girl's father and is determined to spare her the hazards of love. Her tactics are drastic, but folk songs were not subtle, and the people who created them were not subtle. They were at the bottom of a wide social pyramid, and at the top, the king and the church determined how everyone saw themselves and their place in the world. Everyone knew their place and was expected to stay in it. For hundreds of years, music did more than it does today. For those who could not read, ballads spread news and juicy gossip. Rhythmic tunes helped lighten the repetitive work that filled everyone's lives, especially women, washing clothes, churning butter, kneading bread, tending livestock, spinning thread, scrubbing floors. As the old saying goes, a man may work from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never done. And when the sun went down, there was nothing better than a long ballad by the fire, full of daring and drama. There are old ballad books with songs with 60 or 80 verses. A few collections of folk songs exist, but these songs were mostly passed down through the generations simply by being sung. The lullaby has been called the world's oldest work song. The earliest one we know of is from Babylon, 5,000 years old, asking a baby why it is crying and disturbing everyone, including the household gods. Several volumes of collected ballads were published in the late 1800s by Francis Child, a Harvard professor who studied just the lyrics. He noticed that the same story popped up in many different versions, so he numbered the plots. He got up to 305. There were, of course, many more that have been lost. Child ballad number 1 was Riddles Wisely Expounded, an ancestor of the Riddle Song, which made its way to Appalachia from England. This instrument, the dulcimer, was invented in those hills in the late 1600s, when this song was already quite old. I gave my love a cherry that has no stone. I gave my love a chicken that has no bone. I gave my love a thimble that has no end. I gave my love a baby that's no crying. How can there be a cherry that has no stone? How can there be a chicken that has no bone? How can there be a thimble that has no end? How can there be a baby that's no crying? A cherry, when it's blooming, it has no stone. A chicken, when it's pippin', it has no bone. A thimble, when it's rolling, it has no end. And a baby, when it's sleeping, there's no crying. A baby, when it's sleeping, there's no crying. Children's songs are amazingly resilient, preserving a rural life now long gone. Our tots still learn to sing about Old MacDonald, Mary and her little lamb, and oats and beans and barley grow. When children began to walk, they were in constant danger from open fires and other hazards. Mothers often tied their toddlers to their apron strings to keep them safe, and cutting the strings became a metaphor for growing up. A household contained many people: parents, children, grandparents, aunts, uncles, servants, and hired hands. Teenagers often were sent to live with a relative or a neighbor to learn skills, under the assumption that they would be less coddled if they were not at home. Early education was watching the world around you. Children could see their future in what their parents did. The boys would learn a trade or become farmers, and the girls would learn dozens of household skills from their mothers. As soon as they were strong enough, children were put to work fetching water, gathering kindling, or tending livestock. Woodcuts from the 1700s, meant to teach children to read, show us the things that were in their world, and include pages with dozens of birds, many types of trees, and other aspects of the natural world that we no longer consider primary education. This English song from the 1600s covers a batch of birds and a bat. The Bird Song. Hi, said the blackbird, sittin' on a chair. Once I courted a lady fair. She grew fickle and turned her back, and ever since then I'm dressed in black. Hi, said the blue jay as he flew. If I was a young man, I'd have two. If one proved fickle and chanced to go, I'd have a new string to my bow. Hi, says the little leather-winged bat. I will tell you the reason that I fly in the night is 'cause I lost my heart's delight. Hi, says the little mourning dove, I'll tell you how to gain her love. Court her night and court her day, never give her time to say, oh nay. Hi, said the woodpecker, sittin' on a fence. Once I courted a handsome wench. She proved fickle and from me fled, and ever since then my head's been red. Hi, said the robin with a little squirm, I wish I had a great big worm. I'd fly away into my nest. I have a wife I think is the best. There are a great many songs about unsatisfactory wives, so I cherish this one. Well, I've moved forward a little bit in time in my clothing. This was a short gown, a loose garment held on by aprons and such, rather than made to fit your body. The wealthy could have that done, but working women needed clothes that let them move freely and didn't cost much. Well, families with means might hire a tutor for their sons or send them to school. Girls stayed home, for people assumed that too much education would spoil them. Their minds were considered too weak to withstand much book learning. They did, however, learn to embroider the alphabet and form numbers by making samplers. This showed their diligence and nimble needlework, and in adulthood they were expected to mark their linens and such with initials. For centuries, the most stolen item was clothing, and monograms helped keep the servants from making off with valuable items. Samplers often show a preoccupation with death. Girls of 9 or 10 spent hours stitching verses about their demise, such as, "When greedy worms my body eat, in this you may read my name complete." Everyone had to be ready at any time to meet their maker, for death was so common. Obedience was a commandment for children and for wives. Females were considered impetuous and foolish, ruled by their emotions, lacking in reason. Their common ancestor, after all, was Eve. All the troubles of this world were Eve's fault. The church said so, so it must be true. Many girls were obedient, but of course not all. Here's a chat between a mother and her teenage daughter. They have some wealth, for the girl has fine clothes that her mother threatens to take away if she doesn't behave. She calls her a jade, a loose woman. Here is Whistle Daughter. "Mother, I long to be married, I long to be a bride. I long to be with that young man forever by his side, forever by his side. Oh, how happy I would be, for I'm young and merry and oh so weary of my virginity. Daughter, I was 20 before I was wooed, and many a long and weary mile I carried my maidenhood. Well, mother, that may be, but it's not the case with me, for I'm young and merry and oh so weary of my virginity. Whistle, daughter, whistle, and you shall have a cow." "I cannot whistle, mother dear, I fear I don't know how. My maidenhood does grieve me, it fills my heart with fear. Oh, it is a burden, a heavy burden, it's more than I can bear." "Whistle, daughter, whistle, and you shall have a sheep." I cannot whistle, mother dear, but I can sadly weep. My maidenhood does grieve me, it fills my heart with fear. Oh, it is a burden, a heavy burden, it's more than I can bear. Whistle, daughter, whistle, and you shall have a man. Oh, you nasty impudent jade, what makes you whistle now? Well, I'd rather whistle for a man than either sheep or cow. You nasty impudent jade, I will pull your courage down. Take off your silk and satin things, put on your working gown. I'll send you to the fields, a-tossin' of the hay, with the fork and rake the hay to make, and then hear what you say. Mother, don't be so cruel to send me to the fields, where young men may entice me, and to them I may yield, for it's quite widely known I am not too young grown, and it is a pity a girl so pretty as I should live alone. Many folk songs warn of the consequences of such a casual attitude. The worst, of course, was an unwanted pregnancy. In the late 1700s, some 40% of brides were pregnant when they married. Now, this was not considered a big social problem as long as the couple were wed. It was considered a good omen, a sign of fertility. Their communities were not so much concerned with morality as with who was going to pay for the child. In America, colonial era laws instructed a midwife attending an unwed mother to ask who the father was at the moment of birth. Officials presumed she would not lie at such a time, and the man she named was held responsible. Robert Burns supposedly sent this song to his pregnant girlfriend to cheer her up. In it, she wonders who will buy the baby clothes, who will tent her when she cries, pay attention to her, who will own he did the fault. The answer is the rantin' dog, the daddy oat, O''T, the father of it, the unborn child. Rantin' in Scottish means having a very good time. She wonders who will buy the groanin' malt. This was ale brewed to get the laboring woman and everybody else through the ordeal. She wonders who will sit next to her on the creepy chair, the stool of repentance in church, where she must publicly confess. She says if Rab sits beside her, if Robert comes, she'll ask nothing more. She says, who will crack to me Mullane, which means sit and gossip, and who will make me fidgeon fain, which means feeling frisky. Here is the rantin' dog. Oh, who my baby clothes will buy, and who will tent me when I cry? Who will kiss me where I lie? The rantin' dog, the daddy oat. Oh, who will own he did the fault, and who will buy the groanin' malt, and who will tell me how to calt the rantin' dog, the daddy oat? And when I mount the creepy chair, who will sit beside me there? Gie me Rab, I'll seek nae mair, the rantin' dog, the daddy oat. Oh, who will correct me Mullane, and who will make me fidgeon fain, and who will kiss me o'er again, the rantin' dog, the daddy oat. A good follow-up to this is a traditional Scottish song. The baby has been born, and the mother sings, Hishy ba, hush baby, I'm your ma, but heaven knows who your father is. The guid kens fa's your feyther o. She laments that motherhood is keeping her from louping dykes, jumping over stone walls, and social opportunities have dried up. This is Hishy ba. When I was no but sweet 16, and beauty I in bloomin' o', It's little, little did I think that at 17 I'd be weeping. Oh, Hishibana, I'm your ma. Hishibana, Bernie. Oh, Hishibana, I'm your ma. But the good kens fars your father. Oh, if I had been a good wee lass and taken my mammy's bidding, oh, I would not be sitting at this fireside singing hash to me bastard Bernie, oh. Hishibana, I'm your ma. Heshibama Bernie, oh, Heshibana, I'm your ma, but the good kens fars your father, oh. It's keeping me from louping dykes, from parties and from weddings, oh. It's given me balance to my stays, and that's in the latest fashion, oh. Hishibana, I'm your ma. Hishibama Bernie, oh. Hishibana, I'm your ma. But the good kens fars your father, oh. It was nearly impossible for a woman with a child to get by on her own. She had to rely on charity, a precarious and uncomfortable situation. This led to many a song with despairing verses like this one, A Brisk Young Sailor. A brisk young sailor came courting me until he gained my liberty. He stole my heart with free goodwill, and he's got it now, for I love him still. There is an alehouse in yonder town where my love goes and he sits him down. He takes some strange girl on his knee, and it tells her what he does not tell me. Hard grief for me, and I'll tell you why. It's just that she has more gold than I. Her wealth will fade, her beauty pass, and she'll come like me, a poor girl at last. I wish to God that my babe was born, sat smiling all on his father's knee. And while I lie, cold grey was lain, with the green grass growing all over me. There is a bird all in yonder tree. Some say he's blind and he cannot see. I wish it had done the same by me before I'd gained my love's company. The greenest field, it shall be my bed. A flowery pillow shall rest my head. The leaves will blow from tree to tree. They shall be the coverlets over me. Marriage was an all but universal goal, but a woman needed a dowry. This was money or goods that sealed the deal, and it remains with us in the tradition of the bride's family paying for most of the wedding. Daughters of wealthy families had big dowries to attract a good match and tended to marry very young. In this song, a woman's father has married her to a young boy, and she's doubtful, but he assures her that while the lad grows up, she will be a rich lady. This melody has been smoothed into perfection by thousands of voices. The trees, they do grow high. The trees, they do grow high, and the leaves, they do grow green. But the time is gone and past, my love, that you and I have seen. It's a cold winter's night, my love, that you and I must bide alone. The bonny lad was young, but a-growing. Oh, father, dear father, I fear you've done me harm. You've married me to a bonny boy, but I fear he is too young. Oh, daughter, dearest daughter, but while you stay at home with me, a lady you shall be while he's growing. We'll send him to the college for 1 year or so, and then perhaps in time, my love, a man he may grow. I will buy you white ribbons to tie about his bonny waist, to let the ladies know that he's married. By the age of 16, oh, he was a married man. By the age of 17, he was the father of a son. By the age of 18, my love, his grave it was a-growing green, and so I saw the end of his growing. I made my love a shroud of the holland, oh so fine, and every stitch that I put in, the tears came trickling down. And I will sit and mourn his fate until the day that I shall die, and watch all o'er his child while he's growing. And now my love is dead, and in his grave doth lie. The green grass that's o'er him, it groweth up so high. Ah, once I had a sweetheart, but now I have got ne'er a one. So fare thee well, my own true love, for growing. Now we hear of a girl whose parents are so poor she has no hope of a dowry from them. As she says, the money comes slowly in. It's called Hedger and Ditcher because that was her father's job. Me father's a hedger and ditcher, me mother does nothing but spin. They say I'm a pretty young girl, but the money comes slowly in. Oh dear, what's to become of me? Oh dear, what shall I do? There's nobody coming to marry me, nobody coming to woo. The dog, he began to bark, and I looked out to see. I saw two young men out a-hunting hunting, but nobody's hunting for me. Oh dear, what's to become of me? Oh dear, what shall I do? There's nobody coming to marry me, nobody coming to woo. Oh dear, must I die an old maid? Oh dear, how shocking the thought. There's nobody coming to marry me, surely it's not me own fault. Oh dear, what's to become of me? Oh dear, what shall I do? There's nobody coming to marry me, nobody coming to woo. For centuries, the church taught that virginity was the best state for a woman, and being a wife was a lesser calling. When she became a widow, which was very likely, a woman entered a more holy state of chasteness, at least in theory. Most husbands were in their 30s or 40s, and brides were teenagers, so women knew they had a good chance of outliving their husbands. Couples did not expect to be married for many decades. They might grow to love one another, but that was not necessary to form a family. The French invented romantic love in the 12th century between the gallant knight and the inaccessible lady, usually the wife of a king, as in Sir Lancelot and Guinevere. Despite a bit more focus on personal satisfaction, most people did not marry for love, and most married the people their parents chose for them. From 1500 on, the status of wife evolved to be less of a household drudge who needed constant chastisement to more of a partnership. But her legal status remained medieval. She ceased to exist legally when she married. She had no rights to property or even her own earnings, and no rights to her children. Because the church was so suspicious of marriage, it was only marginally involved. In the Canterbury Tales, Chaucer says of the wife of Bath, "At church door she had husbands 3." People usually were married just outside the church by a civil authority, and then went inside for a regular mass. Marriage was not an official church sacrament until 1563. The wife of Bath was not unusual in having had 3 husbands, for people died so often. Marrying purely for love was seen as folly, but money was not meant to be the only consideration. Marriages were arranged by parents or guardians who had known the couple all their lives, and they aimed for compatibility. But some songs warn of the dangers of marrying an energetic young woman to an old man, no matter how rich. Here is Maids When You're Young, Never Wed an Old Man. An old man came courting me, hey, ding-dorum-die. An old man came courting me being young. An old man came courting me, saying, would you marry me? Maids when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no fallorum, hi-diddle-I-dorum. He's got no fallorum, hi-diddle-hi-day. He's got no fallorum, he's lost his ding-dorum. Maids when you're young, never wed an old man. When we came home from church, hey, ding-dorum-die. When we came home from church, me being young. When we came home from church, he left me in the lurch. Maids when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no fallorum, hi-diddle-I-dorum. He's got no fallorum, hi-diddle-hi-day. He's got no fallorum, he's lost his ding-dorum. Maids when you're young, never wed an old man. When we went off to bed, hey, ding-dorum-die. When we went off to bed, me being young. When we went off to bed, he lay like he was dead. Maids when you're young, never wed an old man. got no falorum, hi diddle, idorum. He's got no falorum, hi diddle, hi day. He's got no falorum, he's lost his ding-dorum. Mates, when you're young, never wed an old man. Threw my leg over him, hey, ding-dorum, die. Threw my leg over him, me being young. Threw my leg over him, damn nearly smothered him. Mates, when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no falorum, hi diddle, idorum. He's got no falorum, hi diddle, hi day. He's got no falorum, he's lost his ding-dorum. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. Ah, when he fell asleep, hey, ding-dorum, die. Oh, when he fell asleep, me being young. Oh, when he fell asleep, out of bed I did creep into the arms of a handsome young man. And I found his falorum, hi diddle, idorum. I found his falorum, hi diddle, hi day. I found his falorum, he's got my ding-dorum. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. Many women spent an average of 7 years working to save up a dowry, usually as a servant. She would live in her master's house, and he would provide food and clothing, so her wages were very low. He would save all her earnings and give them to her in one lump sum when she left. Otherwise, the assumption was that she would fritter it away on silly things. Of course, if he became a drinker or a gambler or got into debt, her little nest egg could disappear. We think of people marrying very young in the past, but most brides during this time were in their mid to late 20s. Here a maid looks forward to enjoying her brief time off, but only after she finishes the many tasks on her plate. Cutting rushes provided stuffing for sleeping palates. This is the serving girl's holiday. I've waited longing for today. Spindle, bobbin, and spool away. With joy and bliss I'm off to play upon this high holiday. And spindle, bobbin, and spool away. What joy that it's a holiday. The dirt upon the floors unswept, the fireplaces and cleaned and kept. I haven't caught the rushes yet upon this high holiday. And spindle, bobbin, and spool away. What joy that it's a holiday. In pails the milk has got to go. I ought to spread this bowl of dough. It clogs my nails and fingers so, as I need this high holiday. And spindle, bobbin, and spool away. What joy that it's a holiday. The cooking pots I must fetch in and fix my kerchief under my chin. Darling Jack, lend me a pin to fix me well this holiday. And spindle, bobbin, and spool away. What joy that it's a holiday. Spindle, bobbin, and spool away. What joy that it's a holiday. When her dowry grew large enough to attract a proposal, a bride might purchase a cow, a bed, and linens and such. and the groom provided a plot of land or a shop in which to practice the trade he'd learned during his 7 or 8 years as an apprentice. Here are 2 of what I call Johnny songs. The first might be heard wafting from the scullery as Nancy or Bet or Cora wash the dishes. It's classic wishful thinking set to a wonderfully athletic melody. My Johnny was a shoemaker. My Johnny was a shoemaker, and dearly he loved me. My Johnny was a shoemaker, but now he's gone to sea, with pitch and tar to soil his hands, and to sail upon the sea, stormy sea, and sail upon the stormy sea. His jacket was a deep sky blue, and curly was his hair. His jacket was a deep sky blue, it was, I do declare, for to reeve the topsail up against the mast, and to sail upon the sea, stormy sea, and sail upon the stormy sea. Some day he'll be a captain bold, with a brave and gallant crew. Some day he'll be a captain bold, with a sword and spyglass too. And when he's got his gallant captain's sword, he'll come home and marry me, marry me. He'll come home and marry me. There's no navy in the world, especially the English Navy, where shoemakers become ship captains. But a girl can dream. And if by some miracle that did occur, he's not going to come home and marry the scullery maid. Well, here's a Johnny song, which is just so much fun. It's very typical Irish humor. Johnny be fair. Oh, Johnny be fair and Johnny be good, and he wants me for to wed. And I would have married Johnny, but me father up and said, I hate to tell you, daughter, what your mother never knew, but Johnny is a son of mine, and so he's kin to you. Oh, Billy be fair and Billy be good, and he wants me for to wed. And I would have married Billy, but me father up and said, I hate to tell you, daughter, what your mother never knew, but Billy is a son of mine, and so he's kin to you. Oh, Jimmy be fair and Jimmy be good, and he wants me for to wed. And I would have married Jimmy, but me father up and said, I hate to tell you, daughter, what your mother never knew, but Jimmy is a son of mine, and so he's kin to you. I went down to me mother, and I hung my head in shame. I'd had every boy in the village, and I couldn't change my name. My mother said, if he knew it, then he surely would me kill. But your father's not your father, so marry whom you will. Despite the hazards of dalliance, couples in folk songs were forever availing themselves of the opportunity to romp through Cupid's grove. Here is an encounter draped in the metaphor of an innocent game of cards. And I just love the way one verse begins, we had not been walking but a few miles together. People just got up in the morning and walked for hours without giving it a second thought. Here is the game of cards. As I was a-walking one midsummer's morning, I heard the birds whistle and the nightingales play. And there did I spy a beautiful maiden, as I was a-walking along the highway. Oh, where are you going, my sweet pretty darling? Oh, where are you going so early this morn? She said, I'm going down to visit my neighbors. I'm going down to Warwick, the place I was born. It's may I come with you, my dear lovely maiden. May I go along in your sweet company. Then she turned her head and smiling all at me, said, "You may come with me, kind sir, if you please." Well, we had not been a-walking but a few miles together before this young damsel began to show free. She sat herself down, saying, "Sit down beside me. The games we will play shall be 1, 2, and 3. I said, "My dear lady, if you're fond of the game, and there's one game I know I would like you to learn. The game it is called the game of all fours." So I took out me pack and began the first turn. She cut the cards first, and I fell a-dealing. I dealt her a deuce, and myself the poor jack. She led off her ace and stole my jack from me, saying, "Jack is the card I like best in your pack." Since I dealt the last time, it's your turn to shuffle, and my turn to show the best card in the pack. Once more she'd the ace and the deuce for to beat me. Once more I had lost when I laid down poor Jack. So I took up me cap and I bade her good morning. I said, "You're the best that I know at this game." She answered, "Young man, if you come back tomorrow, we'll play the game over and over and over again." Superstitions abounded. The bride must not trip entering her new house, so the groom should carry her over the threshold to be safe. French folklore held that the first to get into bed on the wedding night would be the first to die. I wrote this song about that folk belief up in Quebec, where my ancestors were from. In the 1500s, the king invited women to sail across the ocean and marry the settlers in New France. Some of my 9th great-grandmothers were filles de roi, or king's daughters, women who made this leap into the unknown. Louis was acting as their father by paying their dowry. So here is Les Filles de Roi, my words set to a traditional French fiddle tune. Come and sit by me, mes amis, let's have some wine. Retell to me your stories and I will tell you mine. Just yesterday we stood at the altar for to wed. No more mamselle, now we have become maidens instead. How do you like your husbands? Do they treat you well? I'm sure we all have interesting tales to tell. Are you still glad we came to live in this new France? The tune is called and surely we must learn to dance. When we were still a-sailing across the ocean blue, a-sailing to Quebec where the women are so few, we three agreed that whatever happened on the shore, we'd be as merry friends as we had been before. So now it's time to share what we most want to know. What happened when your bridegroom took off his chapeau? For everybody knows the saying, that's no lie. The first to bed will surely be the first to die. Jen, we want to know, what did you decide to do? There's not much to tell, you can see I'm black and blue. I tried to push him in, but the same idea had he. We pushed all night, it seems that he's just as strong as me. And when we saw the sun come up, we stopped to rest. I made us both some crepes, he said they were the best. I am content we came to live in this new France. The tune is called And Surely We Must Learn to Dance. Marguerite, my dear, now it is your turn to tell. Did you and your new husband push till dawn as well? Oh no, my man suggested that we sleep on the floor. The blankets kept us warm and he didn't even snore. So neither of us was the first to get in bed. Our fate will stay a mystery till one is dead. I am content we came to live in this new France. The tune is called And Surely We Must Learn to Dance. Now, Marie, let's hear about you and Jean-Baptiste. Did you sleep on the floor till the sun rose in the east? No, we decided that since we'd live on earth as one, we'd rise as one to heaven when our life here is done. He held my hand and gently gave to me a kiss, and then we jumped together into wedded bliss. I am content we came to live in this new France. The tune is called And Surely We Must Learn to Dance. Now the bottle's empty and we must go home. We all are married ladies now and should not roam. But don't forget tes bon amis in this new France. I hear the music playing, now it's time to dance. A wife was one of her husband's possessions, like his house, his livestock, and his children. Here is a song called Sorry the Day I Was Married. Things are not working out as well as she might have hoped. Sorry the day I was married, and sorry the day I was wed, and it's oh if I only had tarried when I to the altar was led. Young William, sure there's no pleasing, for let women do what they can. It's always your heart they'll be teasing, for that is the way of a man. When I was a young lass I was bonny, had silks and bright jewels to wear, and red were my cheeks as a berry, and me heart was free from all care. Silks now I've none for me wear, and my jewels have all gone away, and surely this life there's no bearing, I'm as pale as a primrose today. Think, pretty maids, ere you marry, stand fast by your sweet liberty, and as long as you can you must tarry, and not be lamenting like me. Sorry the day I was married, and sorry the day I was wed, and it's oh if I only had tarried when I to the altar was led. Some couples, of course, were happy. Here are two versions of Child Ballad 209, Geordie. The same tale with very different elements and very different endings. First, we have the tragic tale of Geordie, who is guilty of poaching, which for centuries was a hanging offense. The king owned everything in the forest, including the deer, and only he was allowed to hunt them. As I walked out over London Bridge one misty morning early, I overheard Ah, my Geordie will be hanged in a golden chain. 'Tis not the chain of many, for he was born of a king's royal breed and lost to a virtuous lady. Go saddle to me my milk-white steed, the grey was ne'er so speedy. I will ride to London's court to plead for the life of Geordie. Ah, my Geordie never stole no cow nor calf, he never hurted any, stole 16 of the king's royal deer, and he sold them in Boheny. 2 pretty babies have I borne, the third lies in my body. I'd freely part with them, every one, if you'll spare the life of Geordie. The judge looked over his left shoulder, said, fair maid, I'm sorry. Said, fair maid, you must be gone, for I cannot pardon Geordie. Ah, my Geordie will be hanged in a golden chain. 'Tis not the chain of many, he was born of a king's royal breed and lost to a virtuous lady. In this version of Geordie, the crime is not poaching, but some mishap on the battlefield, and Geordie has been accused of killing a nobleman. There was a battle in the north, and nobles there were many, and they have killed Sir Charlie Hay, and they've laid the blame on Geordie. Oh, he has written a long letter and sent it to his lady. You must come up to Glasgow town and see what news of Geordie. When first she looked the letter on, she was both red and rosy. She had not read a word or two when she grew pale as the lily. Go fetch to me my good grey steed, my men shall all go with me, and I shall neither eat nor drink till Glasgow town does see me. Then she has mounted her good grey steed, her men they all went with her, and she did neither eat nor drink till Glasgow town did see her. First there appeared the fatal block, and then the axe to head him. Then she saw Geordie coming down the stair with bands of iron upon him. Oh, he was chained and fetters strong, of iron and steel so heavy, for not a one in all the court so fine a man as Geordie. Oh, she's down on her bended knee, I'm sure she's pale and weary. Oh, pardon, pardon, noble king, and give me back my Geordie. 2 pretty babies have I got, the third lies in my body. Oh, noble king, take all that's mine, but give me back my dearie. An aged lord at the king's right hand said, noble king, but hear me. Let her count out 5,000 pounds and give her back her dearie. And she's gone out into the crowd, her hands were held for pity, and sure they opened wide their purse strings for love of Geordie's lady. Some gave her crowns, some gave her marks, some gave her dollars many. She's counted out 5,000 pounds and gotten again her dearie. She glanced blithe in her Geordie's face, says, "Dear, I've bought thee, Geordie, but the blood would have flowed upon the green if I'd not had my laddie." He's clasped her by the middle small, and kissed her lips so rosy. The fairest flower of womankind is my sweet bonny lady. I love the way she glanced blithe in her Geordie's face. She looks at him with a twinkle in her eye and she says, "I've bought thee, dear, but I would have fought for you." And then he clasps her by the middle small, though if she's pregnant, maybe it wasn't so small, but that's just a standard way of saying a woman was beautiful. She had a very tiny waist. Well, if a husband was not so fine a man as Geordie, there was very little that an unfulfilled wife could do. Here is an amazing song called "Me Husband's Got No Courage in Him," sometimes sung as a joke, but it's really no joking matter. The song begins, as so very many did, "As I walked out." This allowed a man or a woman to sing a song, as the events were something they saw or watched unfold. As I walked out one May morning to view the fields and the leaves a-springin', I saw two maidens standing by, and one of them her hands was wringin'. Oh dear, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. Me husband's admired where'er he goes, and everyone looks well upon him, with his handsome features and well-turned leg, but still he's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. Me husband can dance and caper and sing and do anything that's fittin' for him, but he cannot do the thing I want because he's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. All kinds of victuals I did provide, all sorts of meats that's fittin' for him, with oyster pie and rhubarb too, but I can't put any courage in him. Oh dear, oh, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. Every night when I goes to bed, I lie and throw me leg right o'er him, and me hand I clap between his thighs, but I can't put any courage in him. Oh dear, oh, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. 7 long years I've made his bed, and 7 years I've lain beside him, and this morning I rose with me maidenhead, because he's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. I wish me husband he was dead, and in his grave I'd quickly lay him, and then I'd find another one what's got a little courage in him. Oh dear, oh, oh dear, oh, me husband's got no courage in him. Oh dear, oh. Here is Child Ballad 204, Jamie Douglas. It's based on actual events. In 1670, James, the second Marquis of Douglas, married Lady Barbara Erskine, the daughter of an earl. After 11 years, they separated in 1681. This ballad was so popular it grew to have more than 80 versions. 2 of the characters have the same name, James or Jamie Douglas, and Jamie Lockhart, who visits and causes trouble. This argues for this being nonfiction, for if you were making up a story, you would use different names for the characters. The real bad guy is Douglas's chamberlain or household manager, his chief butler. Lady Barbara curses him twice. Here we see how a woman rejected by her husband must leave her children behind. In separations, the man almost always kept the children. The song incorporates a bit of an ancient lament called Waly, Waly, stating the sad fact that love usually lasts only as long as the dew on the grass in the morning. Oh, waly, waly on the bank, and waly, waly down the brae, and waly, waly at Burnside, where I and my love used to go. I was a lady of command, who lived in the north country. I was a lady of fine renown, when Jamie Douglas courted me. And when we came to Glasgow town, it was a comely sight to see. My lord was clad in the velvet green, and I myself in cran was he. And when my eldest son was born, and set upon his nurse's knee, I was the happiest woman born, and my good lord he loved me. There came a man unto our house, and Jamie Lockhart was his name, and he did say unto my lord that I did lie in bed with him. There came another to our house, and he was no good friend to me. He put Jamie's shoes beneath my bed, and bade my good lord come and see. Oh, woe be unto thee, Blackwood, and a cruel death may you die. You were the first and the foremost man that parted my good lord and I. And when my lord came to my room, this great falsehood for to see, he turned around all with a scowl, and not one word would he speak to me. Come up now, Jamie Douglas, come up the stair and dine with me. I'll set you on a chair of gold, and court you kindly on my knee. When cockle shells turn silver bells, and fishes fly from tree to tree, when ice and snow turn fire to burn, it's then I'll come and dine with thee. Oh, woe be unto thee, Blackwood, and a cruel death may you die. You were the first and the foremost man that parted my good lord and I. And when my father he had word that my lord had forsaken me, he sent 50 of his first dragoons to fetch me home to my own country. Oh, will I wist when first I kissed that love should be so ill to win. I'd locked my heart in a cage of gold, and pinned it with a silver pin. You think that I am like yourself, and lie with each one that I see, but I do swear by the heavens high, I never loved a man but thee. 'Tis not the wind on high Burnside, nor ice and snows in clemency. 'Tis not such colds as makes me cry, but my love's heart grown cold to me. Oh, waly, waly. Love is bonny a little while when first it's new, but love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like morning dew. Europe was constantly at war, and in England, press gangs drafted men on the spot, and parents who disapproved of a suitor could arrange to have him taken away for years. In this song, a new husband is carried off on his wedding night, a plot that seems unlikely but was chosen for maximum drama. Now, the mother's attitude suggests that she may very well have alerted a press gang to his whereabouts. The daughter dramatically swears she will never cease to mourn him. This is the lowlands of Holland. The very day I was married, as my love he lay in our bed, a press gang came to our bedside, these words to him they said, "Arise, arise, arise, young man, and come along with me, to the lowlands of Holland, to face the enemy. Holland is a cold place, a place where grows no green. Yes, Holland is a cold place for my love to wander in. If money had been as plentiful as leaves upon a tree, yet before I'd time to turn myself, my love they stole from me. There's not a scarf goes round my waist, nor a comb goes in my hair. Neither firelight nor candlelight can ease my heart's despair. And never will I married be until the day I die, since the lowlands of Holland have parted my love and I. My mother said to me this morn, what makes you to lament? For there are lords and dukes and squires can make your heart content, but never will I married be until the day I die, since the lowlands of Holland have parted my love and I. If a couple were blessed, children arrived every few years. Failure to conceive was always the woman's fault. If she died in childbirth or could not nurse, a wet nurse had to be found. There was no substitute for mother's milk. The wealthy hired wet nurses for their children and chose carefully because everyone knew bad traits would be passed through the milk. They never hired redheads who were known to be hot-tempered and wayward. There was a folk tradition that if a mother died in childbirth, she should be buried with a sturdy pair of shoes, for her spirit would return to see that her baby was being fed. Wealth and station did not spare women the hazards of childbirth, which was made dangerous by a general lack of hygiene. Childbed fever was a post-birth infection that killed many a mother, including one of the wives of Henry VIII. Lady Jane Seymour gave Henry what he so desired, a son, but died shortly after. This ballad gets some of the facts wrong. Jane did not request or die of a cesarean section, but Henry did indeed greatly mourn his queen. He walked behind her casket just as Princess Diana's family walked behind hers. The pikes and muskets, signs of earthly power, are dragged on the ground to show how little use they were in the face of death. Child Ballad 170, The Death of Queen Jane. Queen Jane lay in labor for 6 days and more, till her women grew weary and wished it were o'er. Good women, pray do this for me. Go call for King Henry, for him I must see. He came to her chamber and entered therein. How does, my dear lady, your eyes look so dim? King Henry, if Henry you be, pray cut my side open to find my baby. Oh no, cried King Henry, that never should be, to lose my dear lady, to find my baby. She wept and she wailed and she wrung her hands full sore. Then she gave a sigh and she cried out no more. Her side was cut open, the baby to save, but his own dear mother was bound for the grave. They mourned in the kitchen, they mourned in the hall, but noble King Henry mourned longest of all. 6 coaches with soldiers, 6 coaches and more, and royal King Henry went weeping before. The trumpets in mourning so loudly did sound, the pikes and the muskets did trail on the ground. The baby was christened with joy and with mirth, but poor Queen Jane's body lay cold in the earth. King Henry, he sits with his head in his hands. The fair flower of England is gone from our lands. Well, the lyrics don't exactly match the facts, but I think what crept into this song was the shared experience of people who had watched many women die giving birth. It's hard for us to realize just how perilous life was at this time. Children were lucky to survive their early years, and epidemics carried off whole families at once. A map of Boston in 1722 lists 8 great fires and 6 smallpox epidemics. One way to avoid illness was to avoid drinking water, which was usually tainted. Ben Franklin once said, "Beer is a sign that God loves us and wants us to be happy," which is taken as a joke now, but I think Ben was completely serious. Alcohol was a blessing in a world without painkillers, and toasts around the world say, "To your health." People also relied on charms and folk remedies. The church disapproved of superstitions, but it couldn't hurt to hedge your bets. Never leave a rocking chair moving, lest an evil spirit sit in it. Toss spilled salt over your left shoulder to blind the devil who is surely lurking there. Never move into a new house with an old broom. Hold your breath as you pass a grave, or a spirit may try to possess you. Never fail to tell the bees in your hives of a death in the family, or they may fly away in a snit. Knock wood after mentioning good fortune to preserve it. This comes from pre-Christian times when trees contained good spirits, so wood became lucky. And always put an evergreen branch on a newly raised roof. You still see construction sites where they've put the highest part of the roof on and they attach a little sprig of evergreen or a little tree. Losing your husband could be catastrophic or a blessing, depending. Some women took over their husbands' businesses when they died and ran them very well, and being free from your lord and master could be a relief and a chance to live an independent life. Some guilds would not allow a man to open a tavern or an inn if he were not married, for a wife was considered an essential partner. If a husband died with many debts, a woman could remarry without burdening her new husband in a shift wedding. The couple were joined at a crossroads, with the bride wearing only her undergarment to show that the groom was taking only her body and not her obligations. Women nursed the sick and prepared bodies for burial. People generally died at home, often in the same bed in which they had been born. The body was laid out in the best room, and family and friends came to pay their respects before it was carried to the graveyard. A common tradition was to stop all the clocks in the house to show that the deceased was now beyond the reach of time. Opening windows, covering mirrors, and unlocking doors helped keep a spirit from lingering. Mourning was a part of life, with many carefully followed customs. But people knew that excessive grief was unhealthy. Here is Child Ballad 78, The Unquiet Grave. The wind blew high, the wind blew low, it brought some drops of rain. My own true love is the only one, and she in the grave has lain, and she in the grave has lain. Go weep your tear and make a moan, as many a gay youth may, and sit and weep upon her grave for a season and a day, a season and a day. And when the season's past and gone, the fair young maid did say, what man is weeping on my grave the night and most the day, the night and most the day? 'Tis I, my fair young love, who can no longer her sleep. For want of a kiss from your sweet lips, the day and the night I seek, the day and the night I seek. Cold clay, my lips cold clay, to kiss them would be wrong. And if you go against God's law, your time will not be long. Your time will not be long. See there, the sun has set, the day has passed forever. You cannot bring it back again, by foul means or by fair, by foul means or by fair. See there in yonder garden green, where often we did walk, the fairest flower that e'er was seen is withered at the stalk, is withered at the stalk. Our own hearts too will die, my love, and like the stalk decay. So all that you can do, my love, is wait your dying day. Wait your dying day. Ballad making became a business in the 1700s. A poet would write verses about a notorious crime, a battle, a shipwreck, a royal birth or death, and the words were printed on a large sheet of cheap paper called a broadside, with an engraving to illustrate the plot. The engravings were used over and over. Musical notes were not given, for it was way too hard to print them. The broadside suggested a melody that would work for these words, or you could use a tune of your choosing. Everybody knew dozens of melodies, and good ones were used over and over. A man, or more often a woman, would stand on a corner and sing the song to advertise it. A broadside ballad cost very little. The buyer would tack it up on the wall and later might use it in the outhouse. Few of them survive. Child Ballad 200 is the Raggle-Taggle Gypsy, the most popular one after Barbara Allen. It's also known as Gypsy Davy, Gypsy Laddie, and Blackjack Davy. Think Johnny Depp. A newly married lady trades the lap of luxury for the life of a traveler. There is no heavenly punishment, no bolts of lightning, only the hardship of a life freely chosen to sleep on the ground instead of in a feather bed. She happily accepts this to be with her true love. Let's hear about this scandalous affair, which surely must have happened at least once to make its way into a ballad. Or perhaps seeing those travelers passing by looking so happy and carefree led to a lot of daydreaming. There were 3 gypsies came to our door. Downstairs ran this a lady-o. One sang high and the other sang low, and the other sang Bonnie, Bonnie Biscay-o. Then she pulled off her silk finish gown, put on hose of leather-o. The ragged, ragged rags all around our door. She's gone with the raggle-taggle gypsies-o. It was late last night when my lord came home, inquiring for his lady-o. The servants swore on every hand, she's gone with the raggle-taggle gypsies-o. Go saddle to me my milk-white steed, go saddle me my pony-o. I shall ride to seek my bride, out with the raggle-taggle gypsies-o. Oh, he rode high and he rode low, he rode through woods and copses, oh. He rode till he came to a broad open field, and there he espied his lady, oh. What makes you leave your house and land? What makes you leave your money, oh? What makes you leave your new wedded lord to go with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh? Oh, what care I for my house and land? What care I for my money, oh? What care I for my new wedded lord? I'm off with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh. Last night you slept on a goose feather bed with the sheets turned down so bravely, oh. Tonight you'll sleep on the cold hard ground along with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh. Oh, what care I for my goose feather bed with the sheets turned down so bravely, oh. Tonight I'll sleep with my own true love along with the raggle-taggle gypsies, oh. In Child Ballad 243, The House Carpenter, or The Demon Lover, another runaway wife is motivated, but this time not by love, but by greed. And I think this difference is why there are dire consequences. She abandons not only her husband, whom she admits is a good man, but her baby as well. Here is The Demon Lover. Well met, my own true love. Well met, cried he. I've just returned from the salt, salt sea, all for the love of thee. Well, I could have married the king's daughter, she would have married me, but I've forsaken her crowns of gold, all for the love of thee. Well, if you could have married the king's daughter, I'm sure you are to blame, for I am married to a house carpenter, and I find him a nice young man. Ah, will you forsake your house carpenter and go along with me? I'll take you to where the grass grows green by the banks of the salt, salt sea. Well, if I should forsake my house carpenter and go along with thee, what have you got to maintain me on and keep me from poverty? 6 ships all out on the sea, 7 more upon dry land, 110 all brave sailor men will be at your command. Well, she picked up her own wee babe, and kisses gave him 3. Said, stay right here with my house carpenter and keep him good company. Then she put on her rich attire, so glorious to behold, and as she trod along her way, she shone like the glittering gold. Well, they'd not been gone but about 2 weeks, I'm sure it was not 3, when this fair lady began to weep. She wept most bitterly. Ah, why do you weep, my I do weep for my own wee babe, who never I shall see anymore. Well, they'd not been gone but about 3 weeks, I'm sure it was not 4, when our gallant ship sprang a leak and sank, never to rise anymore. One time around spun our gallant ship, 2 times around spun she, 3 times around spun our gallant ship, and sank to the bottom of the sea. What hills are those, my love? Those hills so fair and high. Those are the hills of heaven, my love, but not for you and I. And what hills are those, my love? Those hills so dark and low. Those are the hills of hell, my love, where you and I must go. Although women's lives were supposed to follow a certain course, many folk songs celebrated those who stepped outside the boundaries. There are dozens of songs about women disguising themselves as men to join the army or navy. It sounds like fiction, but it really did happen. The first female warrior in disguise that we have good documentation for is an Englishwoman named Mary Ambree, who joined the army disguised as a man in 1580. She rose to the rank of captain and in 1584 helped liberate the town of Ghent in Holland from the Spanish. When her secret was discovered, she was not sent home in disgrace. She was given a medal and a pension, a priceless reward that guaranteed support in later life. Ballads were written about Mary Ambree, not to condemn her for stepping out of her place, but full of admiration for her daring. Samuel Pepys, who kept a diary in the 1600s, heard a song about her and put this verse in one of his entries. Then captains courageous, whom death could not daunt, did march to the siege of the city of Gaunt. They mustered their soldiers by 2 and by 3, and the foremost in battle was Mary Ambree. A sturdy young woman who had worked hard all her life could easily pass for a boy whose beard had not come in. The military had no entrance physicals, and nobody ever took all their clothes off. Many poorer people owned only what they were standing in. And bathing was known to be dangerous due to polluted water, so people did it sparingly. In the 1800s, the British Navy received a request for pensions from several women who had served in disguise. The Admiralty agreed they were deserving, but didn't want to set a precedent because there were so many others. We can trace the development of the idea of femininity through the evolution of these songs. During these centuries, women were just as likely as men to smoke, drink, walk great distances, ride horses, and enjoy an evening at the tavern. During the 1800s, the Victorians imposed ideas of proper and improper womanly activities. In early versions of these warrior in disguise songs, the woman is just seeking adventure. She serves boldly, is wounded and discovered, and retires in glory. In later versions, she follows her sweetheart, often because he has been pressed by her parents. Humor crept in as fun was had at the idea of other women falling in love with the soldier or sailor. Here is an early example in which a girl just wants to get away from all those chores. when I was a young girl at the age of 16. From my home I ran away to go and serve the Queen. I enlisted in the Navy, a sailor lad to stand, to hear the cannon rattle and the music play so grand. The music play so grand, the music play so grand, to hear the cannon rattle and the music play so grand. I dressed myself in trousers and cut my hair off short. Then I went down to the harbor to see the ships in port. The officer who enlisted me said, "We need every hand. I think you'll make a sailor, so step this way, young man. So step this way, young man. Step this way, young man. I think you'll make a sailor, so step this way, young man." They took me to my bunkmates down where the hammocks swayed, and lying by a sailor's side I never was afraid. But taking off my old blue coat, I sometimes used to smile, to think myself a sailor and a maiden all the while. A maiden all the while, a maiden all the while, to think myself a sailor and a maiden all the while. They sent me up to London to be guard o'er the tower, and there I would have been until this very day and hour. But a young girl fell in love with me, she found I was a maid. She went straightway to my captain, and my secret she betrayed. My secret she betrayed. My secret she betrayed. She went straightway to my captain, and my secret she betrayed. My captain, he sent for me to see if it was true, and how could I deny the tale that he already knew? "Here's a pension of war for you," he smiled and he said. "'Tis a pity we should lose you, such a sailor as you made, such a sailor as you made, such a sailor as you made. 'Tis a pity we should lose you, such a sailor as you made." So fare thee well, my captain, you have been kind to me, and fare thee well, my comrades, you ne'er forgot shall be. And should the British Navy fall short of any men, I'll doff off my hat and feathers, and I'll run the rigging again. I'll run the rigging again. I'll run the rigging again. I'll doff off my hat and feathers, and I'll run the rigging again. During the 1800s, the upper classes hated hearing their servants singing what they considered inappropriate songs like this, so they wrote some that focused on femininity. The woman starts asking permission to come along in disguise, and her lover replies, "Oh, my pretty little Joan could never stand life at sea," or, "Oh, the rope tar will stain your lily-white hands." No longer a bold adventurer, the woman is left behind to pine delicately. Here's an example. Farewell, Nancy. Farewell, my dearest Nancy, since I must now leave you. Unto the salt seas I am bound for to go, but let my long absence be no trouble to you, for I shall return this spring, as you know. Like some pretty little sea boy, I will dress and go with you. In the deepest of danger, I shall stand as your friend. In the cold, stormy weather, when the winds are blowing, my dear, I shall be willing to wait on Your pretty little hands cannot handle our tackle, and your pretty little feet on our topmast can't go, and the cold stormy weather you ne'er can endure. Therefore, dearest Nancy, to the seas do not go. So farewell, my dearest Nancy, since I must now leave you. Unto the salt seas I am bound for to go, where the winds do blow high and the seas loud do roar. So do be contented, be kind and stay on shore. Well, as I said, before the 1800s, women could be found doing all sorts of things in songs that seem at odds with their roles. Part of the enjoyment of songs, of course, was enjoying outlandish behavior. From England, we hear about 3 drunken maidens who don't care a fig for what anyone thinks about them. There were 3 drunken maidens came from the Isle of Wight. They drunk from Monday morning nor stopped till Saturday night. When Saturday night did come, my boys, they wouldn't then go out. These 3 drunken maidens, they pushed the jug about. Up steps Bouncing Sally, her cheeks as red as a bloom. Move up, me jolly sisters, and give young Sally some room, for I'll be your equal before that we go out. These 4 drunken maidens, they push the jug about. There's woodcock and pheasant, there's partridge and hare, there's all sorts of dainties, no scarcity was there. There's 40 quarts of ale, my boys, they fairly drunk them out. These 4 drunken maidens, they push the jug about. Up then steps the landlord, he's asking for his pay. It's a 40-pound bill, my boys, these girls are supposed to pay. That's 10 pounds apiece, my boys, but still they wouldn't go out. These 4 drunken maidens, they push the jug about. Oh, where are your feathered hats, your mantles rich and fine? They've all been swallowed up in tankards of good wine. And where are your maidenheads, your damsels brisk and gay? We left them in the alehouse, we drank them clean away. I will end with a song about a Scottish couple who have spent a long, long time living together. The door to their cottage blows open, and our good man tells his wife to get up and close it. She's up to her elbows in pudding and tells him, "Me hand is in me hussif's scap." She's busy preparing food for a holiday. Hussif's scap is household activities. They are stubborn old cusses and vow that the next one to speak will have to be the one to get up and bar the door. This is child 275. It fell about the Martinmas, and a gay time it was then, oh. Our good wife had puddings to make, and she's boiled them in the pan, oh. The wind blew cold from east and north, it blew into the floor, oh. Quoth our good man to our good wife, "Get up and bar the door, oh." Me hand is in me hussif's scap, good man, as ye may see, oh. If it should be barred this 100 years, it'll not be barred by me, oh. They made a pact between the two, they made it firm and sure, oh. Whoever should speak the very first word should rise and bar the door, oh. Then by there came two gentlemen at 12 o'clock at night, oh, and they could see that in the house no coal nor candlelight, oh. Oh, have we here a rich man's house, or have we here a poor, oh? But never a word would the old couple speak for the barring of the door, oh. So first they ate the white puddings, and then they ate the black, oh. Though much thought the good wife to herself, yet never a word she spoke, oh. Then one unto the other did say, Here, man, take ye my knife, oh. You take off the old man's beard, and I'll kiss the good wife, oh. But there's no water in the house, and what shall we do then, oh? Now don't you see the pudding broth that boils in yonder pan, oh? Oh, up then started our good man, and an angry man was he, oh. Will ye kiss me, wife, before me eyes, and scald me with pudding broth, oh? Oh, up then started our good wife, gave 3 skips on the floor, oh. Good man, you have spake the foremost word, get up and bar the door, oh.